Hello everybody, welcome to Good Vibrations for this coming week. Wowza, we have a lot going on in the sky. I just printed out what the sky looks like right now, where all the planets are at. You don't need to know a thing about astrology. Just visually look at this. You know within you. Take a look at that. That's what's going on. And what do you notice? You know, this is what I'm interested in with astrology. What do you notice? This is the prophet within you that the Sabian symbol this week talks about. Check out what I noticed right away. This is called a grand cross. It isn't quite exact yet. It isn't all at the perfect angles, but it is called a grand cross. Can you see, you know, this right here? That for me is superpower land. That's what I intuitively get. People who have those crosses in the middle of their chart where they're sitting right at the time of their birth, that represents an enormous opportunity. I don't choose to view it as a major challenge, though that is where we experience the most growth. So in essence, it is a challenge. We're being called to balance out all these areas in our life. And all those points are kind of pulling at each other, and so people can feel this week the Grand Cross will become, exact, if you will. And people might feel like, I'm being pulled and pushed in all these directions. People might feel a little more on edge. So it's really important this week to tune into the power of the Grand Trine which exists. So I'm going to show you this. So the Grand Trine is in Earth. It is this blue triangle. It goes from Capricorn over here into, into Virgo. There we go, Virgo, and up here to Taurus. Those are the three Earth signs. So that's what is serving as the bedrock for all of this pushing and pulling. Okay, and keep in mind, my best image to show the power of the pushing and pulling is a new plant, a beautiful flower, perfect time of year for this, that is coming up through the soil, and it has gone and struggled to get up, and the hardest part is breaking through the earth. That is the hardest part. So it gathers extra momentum and it pushes up out of the soil. But it needs that force going against it to gather the momentum to break through. Okay? That is my best analogy. That feels so right on for me when I think about this idea of the Grand Cross, or anybody who has some major oppositions in their chart, that it has to do with these forces coming at each other and the absolute superpower that can result if there is a balancing and a mellowing out and a flow of those two polarities. And that's what this Grand Cross, wow, it is tremendous power this week. So the Sabian symbol for this week's reading was out of Capricorn 7. A veiled prophet speaks, seized by the power of a god. The god is not only that Grand Cross, but also that Grand Trine in Earth. And the reading actually speaks to that prophet within you that wants to come forward to tell you how to deal with these pushings and pullings so that you can experience that superpower that is available to you. And it's going to be different for each person, but based on the card that you chose, that'll give you an indication of kind of how to go into this week, a theme to keep in mind, that the prophet within, that God self within, wants you to know so that you don't get buffeted around by this Grand Cross energy. There's no reason to be afraid of it. There's no reason to sit in fear about it. That's just not necessary, okay? Use it to your advantage. So this speaks of that superpower within you, this reading, to glide through it. Flow feels very important this week. check out. I mean, there are so many opportunities in this energy to get caught on any one of these points. It's like you're going through a web and you can get caught on any of them. But if you stop struggling like a fly would in a spider's web, if you stop the struggling, then you won't gather these strands that keep attaching to you, okay? That feels very clear to me, that it's like you just flow with it, and as you do, kind of nothing gets stuck to you to like propel you downward or to keep you, not downward, but to keep you stuck. That there's no need of that. And the Grand Cross energy introduces opportunities when that can happen. It's a great test. It's a great test for you. And this Grand Cross, I believe, lasts for a while. I should have looked up the date. I think it's well through this month. I don't think it disappears quickly. And so it's just a fun test. That's the way I'd like you to look at it. How can you go about your life without getting more strands of the spider's web stuck to you? It's about flow, allowing things to happen, knowing that everybody has their own truth, and that what is truth for that person is their truth. The important point is that you live according to your truth. Pay attention to your own wheelhouse. And never mind trying to get in the middle of everybody else's, because that's where those strands can really attract you. They can attract to you. And we just really don't need all that. We don't need to make it about all that. So the Grand Trine in Earth is about enjoying your life, enjoying through the senses, being practical, paying attention to your checkbook, keeping your house cleaned, getting back to the basics about living here on Earth, and never mind trying to guide or direct somebody else's life. You serve as an example, as a very solid example in your own life, and as you do that, you impact others. They see what you're doing, they see the ease that you're experiencing, even though there's all this tremendous Grand Cross energy going on. Everybody's going to feel it. But you can serve as a really powerful example in these coming weeks by just grounding, getting out in nature, and again, paying attention to the earthly tasks, being organized, enjoying a fine meal, enjoying a nice glass of wine. Whatever it is, enjoying through the senses is important, okay? That's an overall message regarding this. So with all of that, let's get to the cards. So the first one, I haven't even looked at these. All right, if you drew this butterfly, a lot of people picked this card, I happen to notice. It is feeling safe. All right, that Grand Trine in Earth has so got your back. That's what I feel the need to say, is that it's like a fortress around you. It literally, it is very grounding to this Grand Cross energy. It sits behind it. It sits underneath it almost. And so that is the feeling I get with this, is as you experience these energies, just know I'm safe, I'm good. There's going to be things that pop up. They're going to keep testing you. They're going to keep offering you a little pop quiz. How's she going to do with this? It's not meant to be mean. It's meant to just test your innate grace, okay? That's what I feel like for you. It's nothing but a little pop quiz. Again, go back to that Grand Trine, enjoying the senses of living here on Earth. Try not to get wrapped up in the drama that might be surrounding you. There's going to be peaks and valleys coming up in the coming weeks, starting really with this coming week. And you may have already been experiencing it. So just know that you're safe and pay attention to how good your life really is going. Like, when you get down to it, into the sensual pieces of your life, it's really going pretty good, I would say. Do you have shelter? Do you have food? Do you have love somewhere in your life? Do you have relationships of people who really matter to you? Do you have clothing? That's what I mean. It's about getting basic. And never mind all the complexities, that big web that's available, which there is so much there. And yes, there are times where we want to explore all of that. But there's a lot of energy going on right now. Do you really need all that? Trust that it just comes to you. Okay? What you need comes. If you sit in your wheelhouse with that perspective, then indeed I do have everything I need. Really and truly. And really honoring the things that you do have. Really honor the fact of all of the blessings that are already there. Because that energy is then going to bring this sense of gratitude out, and your team, the universe, that energy will bring you more things to be grateful for. We don't have to get really caught up in this web, okay? Just, I keep saying it, but be in your own wheelhouse. Stay grounded in your life. What is going on in your life? And never mind everybody else. Because we do get attracted to wanting to engage in what other people are experiencing. And many of us are empaths, and so we can't help it. We take on those emotions from others like a sponge. But you don't have to. This can be a very good time to set your boundaries. Know that you are safe. That is the message for you butterfly people. You are safe. That grand trine is sitting right there for you. And just pay attention to your own stuff. The power thought card is, it is safe to look within. So as you experience these energies, it's about that grounding and going within. The message on the back says, as I move through the layers of other people's opinions and beliefs, I see within myself a magnificent being, wise and beautiful. I love what I see in me. Love your life. Because as you do that, nobody can love it like you can. So look at all of the treasures that you have gathered and enjoy those, okay? Essentially enjoy everything you've gathered this week, okay? Because that's incredibly grounding and it's centering. You're in your own wheelhouse and you're not pulled off into other people's drama, which can really leave you feeling very splintered and scattered. And it's like you're just, in those instances, you're only a piece of the pie of the enormity of who you are as a vibrational field of energy, this big sphere around you. You're only a slice of it when you're giving that energy off to other people all the time. So really important this week to stay focused on your own wheelhouse, and you can appreciate what other people are going through, but you don't have to take that on. All right, then we have the Soul Coaching deck. For those that chose this card, Beginnings comes up. And what it says on this card is, I cherish all the cycles in my life. This is a powerful time for you. This is a time, this Grand Cross is very likely going to serve as some endings and some beginnings. Okay, that's the beauty of an ending, is that it's the start of something new. And I do feel like this is about perspective. This felt important for everybody, but I'm getting it with this, is it's about your perspective in how you're viewing the circumstances of your life right now. And really wanting to see that this is an opportunity to use these energies that we have to see that this is the start of something big and good and different. It's the turning of a page. Many people have been going through this recently, And it's just absolutely divine in nature. It is the prophet within you saying, yes, embrace this, what is being offered to you. And again, call upon what you're experiencing in your daily life. What's going on at home? What's going on in your work setting? What's going on? What are you taking in? I'm getting the sense of a straw, and it's like you're trying all these drinks, and each one serves as a different part of your senses. Like, what are you hearing? What is the theme of what you're hearing? What is the theme of what you're seeing? If you really look at things through different senses, what you see, what you hear, the things you taste, do certain foods seem better to you than others right now? And have you been experiencing that recently? And living through the senses feels important to gather information as you create this new beginning, because your experience kind of always shows you the flavor of where you're headed and what's available to you. Things are being offered up, I'm getting, on a platter, and you get to choose, like that beautiful dessert platter that comes out, and you get to see, okay, that looks good, and yeah, I'm not in the mood for strawberry shortcake though. So there's a lot being offered up. Look at all these leaves, they're all different colors, they're swirling around, and it's kind of this palette, this buffet being offered. So notice the themes that you're seeing, if this makes sense, in your life through your senses. Again, it feels like very earthly stuff. Notice what's going on in your life, okay? Through the senses, through what you're experiencing, and know that you get to choose, okay? That's the superpower here. That's the profit, is that you get to make the choice, but things are being offered up, and it is the chance at a new beginning. And it feels like a chance in the new beginning of a perception of how you see your world, okay? So the power thought card that comes up is, I prosper wherever I turn. And on the back it says, I now see opportunities for abundance everywhere. I am blessed and prospered. Can you feel the sense of the dessert tray being offered by this perfect butler for you, madam? That there is so much available, okay? There's so much available that notice what you're drawn to, notice what you really enjoy in the pleasures of your life, because that's just the start of something really big and beautiful opening up for you. But you have to pay attention to the selections and use your senses to guide you. All right. The last card is from the Angel Therapy deck by Doreen Virtue. Nice. Laughter. On it says, uplift yourself and those around you through loving laughter. This week, humor is going to be important. It floats you. I feel a sense of being like a set of helium balloons that are every color in the rainbow. And you've got them right in your hand. And you know, I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel when I have a set of helium balloons, if I'm directing an event for work or something like that. Walking through the hospital one time, I was setting something up at the hospital, and I had a set of balloons, and it was amazing, the adults and the children who engaged with me just from the sight of that. And I wasn't even doing eye contact, which I normally do, but I was on a mission that day. And it was like they were stopping me and like, oh, those are so pretty. I mean, and it was people of all ages. And then a little girl came up to me, she was probably 3, and said, geez, could I have one of those? Because their kids are just drawn to anything that is joy filled. And for me, balloons is a real signal for that, as I'm getting it really strongly for this card. And these almost look like beautiful balloons of flowers. but that sense of joy, okay? That sense of floating through life and seeing that there's humor in literally everything, you know? Seeing that you can always choose to view the lighter part of life. And imagine yourself with those balloons and you're just kind of lifted. And as you do that, you just automatically lift other people because they can't help but be affected by your ability to bring laughter so quickly into a conversation. It's innate within you. This is the prophet within you that's calling forward this ability to bring laughter. And as you do that, the way laughter affects your energy is it really resonates right around here in the throat, and it speaks to the truth of who you are. And I really want to do a video someday capturing people's laugh, because it's really identifying. It's so easy to feel it. I feel this in the office I work in. I know exactly who it is when I hear something, even if they have kind of a quiet undertone kind of laughter, but it immediately makes me smile. And that's probably why my license plate says make me smile, because I just have that. I want that bubbliness for my life. It's just life to me. So know that you can lift out of this crazy, Greg Cross. We don't need to make it heavy, but there's a lot going on. You see, a lot of lines, a lot of red. But it's like you've got those balloons and you just lifted right up. It's almost like, not that you're above it, but that you can be light with it. That's how you who chose that card, you don't get caught in the web, because you're able to just lift. And that's a superpower. That is a core superpower to who you are, whether or not you know that. The power thought card for this: I let go of all expectations. Can you feel the lightness of this? That is what I mean by the helium balloons. It's just light. And it's like you don't get weighed down. You don't get anchored. Like balloons that are anchored don't have the chance to show their beauty because they don't float into the air. They're anchored down. And it's why we're all like, oh, when a balloon goes up in the air, we all have this kind of wonder, like, what will happen to it and where will it go and things like that, because there's no set path. You're open to whatever great vistas await you. The back of the card says, I flow freely and lovingly with life. I love myself. I know that only good awaits me at every turn. That is what laughter and humor can bring, is when we're able to laugh and bring humor to situations, especially when they get heavy, like this coming week. Know that you can always turn to that superpower that your prophet is bringing up for you, because goodness awaits. Expect it. Expect it. You're open to anything, because you know you can always bring your humor to it. You can always bring that helium balloon perspective, which offers you a lightness and a joy, much like a child who has a set of those balloons. So there we go. That's this week's reading. Some people have asked me if I do card readings, and I do. So you can either reach out to me through Facebook or visit my site, Call of the Wild Energy Therapy. There's information about monthly readings or, a card reading. I do various types of readings. I do life review, so kind of a snapshot in time of kind of what your team wants to tell you from that higher self perspective. Giving you opportunity for some growth or a path to consider. There's all kinds. Most people just ask whatever their team wants them to know, and they lead me to different types of readings: a butterfly reading, a pathway reading. There's many different types. So if you want to know more, just reach out to me. I do charge $30 for those, so they're pretty inexpensive, and I deliver it as a private video message link through email. Nobody else can see that video but you. And so far people have really enjoyed them, and I love doing them because it feels very of course it is very personal to you, and that's great fun and an honor really for me to bring that. And just be warned, I do bring my humor to it, so it's not all like super serious, though parts of it can be. But I honor you and love working with your team's energy to bring through those messages in different ways. So until next week, hang in there and pay attention to what your prophet says to you this week, that inner prophet. And we're just going to glide through this. Ain't no big thing. We're not going to get caught up in the web, because we're going to use our superpower and just flow with it. Have a good one.